Hey everybody, it's Steve with Real Progressives. I'm trying to talk about the approach that I'm being charged with at times, which is this whole bizarre concept of purity testing. We're nowhere near an election right now. And I think that there's an awful lot left to be discussed amongst progressives. I think there's an awful lot of education that has to go on within the progressive community for us to know what we're fighting for in 2018 and 2020. I think that it's almost, hi David, I think it's almost impossible for progressives to act like there's something to unite around when there are some people out there who would go along with the GOP and sign up for a balanced budget amendment and not know their ass from their elbow about economics, but would literally bring the country to its knees, would literally destroy the country in one fell swoop. There is just enough progressives out there and Democrats out there that are willing to sign on for a balanced budget amendment that would literally cripple the nation. Now, am I being a purist by saying economics matter? Only to people that don't understand economics. I was disappointed the other day. I was interviewing somebody who you all know and love, and I tried to bring up MMT, and they said, well, everybody's got a different opinion on things, I'm sure if you mention some good spending, they go for it. And, for me, I sat there and I thought to myself, it's like, what you don't understand is if we don't learn how to do this, we're always going to be doing the Clinton model by de facto. That's going to be the way it goes. If you don't understand economics, you're going to end up doing what you've always heard before. You're going to always do the exact same thing that you always did before that has gotten us screwed to this point. So I refuse to call it purity testing. I consider it more, let's live in the real. Let's live in the fucking real. And, I used to be one of those tone-deaf white guys that would listen to people talking about the struggle of the inner city, that were talking about people who are, hey man, if you just made better choices and so on and so forth. And then I learned economics. And I realized how many of the situations that happen with these people are government made because we have instituted systems and we've come up with ideologies that are the prevailing wind of the day that create these situations. Now riddle me this. The Democratic Party. I know many of you all are done with them, but let's talk about them because whether you like them or not, they are controlling your life right now, even from the outside. This is very serious. So if the Democratic Party believes that taxes fund spending, and they're ready to fight with you tooth and nail to make you suck that junk and deal with them on the terms that taxes fund spending, then guess what? We're going to have the exact same shit. No difference at all. Because good people out there don't know economics. It's not just neoliberal assholes. It's not just people that are bought by a corporation. Many of you believe that your hard-earned tax dollars are going to Israel. Many of you believe George W. Bush put unfunded wars on government credit cards. Many of you believe that somebody raided the Social Security Trust Fund. So when you believe stupid stuff like that, a spreadsheet, when you believe that, you make different decisions. You make different decisions, right? If you believe that our country can't do anything, it is dead broke, and it absolutely must be responsible and tighten its belts. If you believe that, then you're going to make different choices. If you believe that single-payer health care will be an enormous amount of money that we can't afford, that we've got to tax our way to get there, it will never happen. You'll have all the greatest sensibilities in the world, but you can't implement it. Do you understand what I'm saying? If there's no one that understands what I'm saying, then we have got a very serious issue. There is no way for a progressive group of any variety, zero, to pass any progressive legislation if they don't understand this. So when I hear people act like, well, you know, so-and-so thinks it this way, and so-and-so thinks it that way, it's kind of like the dumbasses that sit there and look down their nose at poor black people in the inner city. To me, people that deny MMT are climate deniers, the same exact thing. To me, they're bigots in their own way, just like the people that talk about people in the inner city should make better decisions. It's the same mythology driving horrific behavior. Now, mind you, not all bigots are evil people. They just don't know any better, right? That's where we're at. It's ignorance, right? So when you think about economics, they're not all bad people, but they're steeped in ignorance. So it's the same thing. Folks, I am open to any approach possible, but I'm not okay with denying truth. And this is why I am so passionate about what I do, because I don't care about MMT. MMT is not what I care about. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, what I care about is getting single-payer health care. What I care about is fixing the environment. And what I care about is getting us all free college so that we're not in debt. I care about discharging student loans so people aren't drowning. It's not MMT that I care about. It's those things, right? It's a people's platform, exactly. So what are some of the balanced budget effects? If you are a person and you are living in your home and you write a check and you look in your checkbook and you realize you only have $50 in your bank account and you write a check for $60, that check is going to bounce. Or maybe you have overdraft protection, okay? But you're going to get charged for it. You're going to get a big hit. Well, the difference is the federal government controls the computers that enter the keystrokes to create the dollars. So it doesn't have the same constraints you and I have. It doesn't have any of those constraints. When it says, hey, we've got a new thing we've got to spend money on, they enter things into the system that create deposits. They write checks. The checks go out. They clear. They always clear. Why is that? Because everybody wants and needs the U.S. dollar. Forget the liars that say otherwise. So why is it so important? Think about it. So if you have a balanced budget and you say we can only spend $60 a year, $100 a year, whatever. Now what happens when we're a net exporter and our money leaves the country and the bathtub shrinks? How do we get more money back into the bathtub to fill the bathtub back up? We delete taxes. Taxes get deleted. They don't pay for anything. So the idea of a balanced budget is a sign of worthlessness to begin with. It's a sign of an ignoramus, someone that's dumb as a box of rocks, and someone that should never ever presume to teach. They should only listen. They shouldn't even speak. They should literally stay mute. Because what they're suggesting is something that would cause cataclysmic destruction to our economy. And it wouldn't be the rich that feel it. It would be you and I, because we have no buffer. And then all of a sudden, they would say, hey, we don't have enough money to pay. We don't have enough money to pay for the unemployment, the money to pay for unemployment. We don't have the money to pay for these things, so we got to cut. And that's what a balanced budget would do. It's austerity. And so the people that want a balanced budget, they're either conservatives or they're stupid. And they're not necessarily indistinguishable. They're the same thing a lot of times. So when progressives of all people, Dennis Kucinich wanted one. All you Dennis Kucinich fans out there, the jackass wanted us to go back on the gold standard, and the jackass wants us to fight about its budget. He's a jackass. And the same thing with Sherrod Brown. Sherrod Brown is just as dumb as a box of rocks. And this is the kind of shit he wanted. You see what I'm saying? So the schools, all the top schools, okay, so let's talk about this, right? So let's talk about what orthodoxy is. Orthodoxy is when somebody like the Catholic Church steamrolls the world and says it's going to be Jesus Christ, and we're going to do purgatory, and we're going to go ahead and do communion, and we're only going to do sacraments, and you're going to have to pay penances, and that's truth. That's what orthodoxy is, and that's what's taught. Well, the truth is not that. Okay? So what happens? What we call heterodox economics is outside orthodoxy. And in this particular case, they're federal financing, okay? Federal financing. MMT is an observable science. The economics that were taught to most of us were 1971 and before. So much of what we're taught is lies and deceit. So what we have to do here is really get super stoked about force-feeding this motherfucker down their throats, because that's the only way something new becomes orthodoxy. The only way to crush that coup d'etat that the orthodoxy did to our lives is to create yet again another coup d'etat, an economic coup d'etat, an economic revolution that forces them to accept and address truth. Yes, UMKC teaches MMT. Many schools are picking it up, but quite frankly, UMKC and Bard College and the Levy Institute and many other places, okay? But as far as the regular schools, they teach Milton Friedman's monetarism. They teach Keynesian economics. New Keynesian economics. So it's really important what it is in fact that you're fighting for. And what you're fighting for is what we call macroeconomic truth. You're talking about dealing in macroeconomic truth, not myths that they have to defend because they built a career doing it. Sorry about that. So what happens is that they've built a career on old information. They built a career peddling old information. To undo that, they would have to say that what they taught before was wrong. Now, if your career depends on you being right, how likely are you to say you were wrong? Think about that. So what we're doing is we're saying, I am sure that we are able to deliver the progressive platform that we have stated we want. None of the other places can do that. Not one single one. And that's why they kept coming back and saying what Bernie said was pie in the sky. Do you remember this? If you don't remember this, if you suckle back into establishment economics, everything Bernie said couldn't be done. Everything FDR did couldn't be done. Oh, but wait a minute, it already was done. So who's the fucking liar? So reality. We know for a fact this stuff is doable. Now it's up to us to force them. If we don't force them, it's not going to happen. I mean, seriously, folks, this is the drive. It has got to happen. It has got to happen. Nothing that we want to happen will ever happen. I think this is so important if you don't get it. And that's why when this individual acted like, well, you know, some people think this and some people think that. It's like, which one of these motherfuckers is paying for my fucking single payer health care? Which one of these motherfuckers is fixing green energy today, not in 50 years? Which one of them is giving us a federal job guarantee? Which one of them is doing unprecedented things? Paid family and medical leave. Which one of them is expanding Social Security? Tula, what? You don't know, Jack? That's right. And so this is what I'm saying, folks. It's that important. This is not purity testing at all. If you can't deliver what you say you're delivering, then you're a charlatan, and I shouldn't follow. There's no reason to follow someone that doesn't know truth. There's no reason. It's up to us to demand they speak truth. And if they don't understand economics, why the fuck are they running for a role that has an economic component to it? Think about it. Why in the world? So folks, get animated, get activated, and get out there teaching. We are not getting any progressive shit done whatsoever until we demand macroeconomic reality. Until we demand that they understand. Until we go into Rand Paul's office and give him a teach-in. Until we go into Bernie Sanders' office and give him a teach-in. Until we go into Robert Reich's office and give him a teach-in. Until we go to Paul Krugman's office and give the motherfucker a teach-in. Until we do this shit, nothing we want is happening. Not one damn thing. Take that to the bank. You want to be a truth teller. You want to be a revolutionary. Show me. Show me. Don't tell me, show me. A revolutionary doesn't peddle Paul Krugman's bullshit. A revolutionary doesn't sit there and peddle lies. We need to lobby them. We need to occupy their offices and teach the economics. That's it. All right. With that, folks, I'll see you tonight with Joe Firestone. I'll see you tonight with Joe Firestone. Tomorrow, Monday night. Guys, I've got so many women I can't wait.